Hello, folks. How you doing? I'm back with knowledge and intelligence. Uh, the the most ancient humans, okay, were they evolved without a cerebral cortex. It grew in later, but they did have knowledge. They had imagery, memory, etc. They had knowledge. They just didn't have that logic and reasoning that comes with intelligence. You see. Now, this we gather from the mythology, the Kimite mythology, others too. So we see now that in the, let's say, the ancient scriptures, that the scriptures follow this pattern from knowledge to intelligence. The intelligence comes in later. Well, on the first humans, they evolved with knowledge, but it took hundreds of thousands of years before they evolved intelligence. That is, it took that long for the cerebral cortex to grow because when they first evolved as humans, they didn't have a cerebral cortex. It took time for it to grow, to evolve. And when it did, intelligence came in. At this point, they have knowledge and intelligence. Now, the scriptures follow this pattern. With its many parables and legends and stories and tales, etc., it follows the pattern. Even when it gets into the idea of purification. You see what I mean? Where purification has to do with, okay, the acquisition of intelligence. When they're purified, you come into the realm of intelligence. And when you go, let's say, to the top, supposedly heaven, then you have both. So anyway, the supreme intelligence has both knowledge and intelligence, because intelligence simply does not work without knowledge. So it contains both. The supreme intelligence has both knowledge and intelligence. Now, it follows naturally in some of the writings in the scriptures, you know what I mean, in the mythology. Okay. We take an example with a natural fact, and this has to do with the sun in the sky, S-U-N. And so, as the sun travels, they call it the underworld, actually it's coming from winter to the spring, okay? As the sun travels through the underworld, okay, well, and let's say in winter, okay, it represents knowledge, not intelligence. Knowledge. Intelligence comes later, right? That's the pattern. Knowledge and comes later intelligence, right? So the sun traveling, you know, after it leaves, for example, the winter solstice, here the days start to become a little, let's say, longer, okay? But still the night is dominant. So then we say that the sun reaches the spring equinox. Oh, that's equal night. Equinox, equal night. So here we have really equal day and night. This implies equal knowledge and equal intelligence. Intelligence, okay, is associated with the day. Knowledge is associated with the night. So we have equal night and day. Equal knowledge and intelligence. You see. Now, when the sun crosses over, let's say the equator, okay, when it crosses over the equator, the days then start becoming longer than the night, since intelligence begins to become more and more superior to knowledge. Because the days, which are associated with intelligence, become longer than the night. And night is associated with knowledge. That's the pattern. The first humans came on the scene with knowledge. Later, they acquired intelligence when the cerebral cortex grew in. They acquired intelligence. The same pattern. Here we use the sun, okay, as an example. The sun crossing over the equator, you know what I mean, at the equinox around March 22nd, etc. You know what I mean? As an example of what happened during the earliest of times with the human species. Okay? So here we're dealing with a natural fact, and we're dealing with intelligence and knowledge, which are natural facts relative to the human being. Okay? So now we can take some examples, okay, from Scripture. Okay? So here we have a character, okay, who, let's say he's at the bottom of the mountain, and he has on a veil. The veil represents knowledge. At the bottom, the beginning, he's just starting off. Like the early humans just start off with knowledge. Okay. You know what I mean? Later on, they acquired intelligence. Okay, so we have this character at the bottom of the mountain with the veil on. You see? So now, he begins to climb. Hence, time is passing by. He climbs the mountain. When he gets to the top of the mountain, he encounters the Lord. But the Lord shows this guy his back. The back is associated with knowledge. But when this character, who has on the veil and he climbs the mountain, when he gets to the top of the mountain, he takes the veil off. He shows his full face. Here in this instance, the full face is intelligence. So we have here intelligence and knowledge. He runs into knowledge at the top of the mountain, the Lord, but he runs into knowledge at the top of the mountain. The Lord is saying, look, he is knowledge and intelligence, actually. We can assume the intelligence aspect, but the Lord is saying that he is knowledge too. But when the Lord shows him the back, which is knowledge, you see what I mean? He is saying that the first humans, the first of your species, okay, the human species, were involved with knowledge. This is what the Lord is showing him, you see. Now, the character shows his full face, which is intelligence. And then he turns around and he comes back down from the mountain after talking to the Lord for a while. He comes back down, and as coming down, he puts his veil back on. And then he carries on with his business here on earth. But when he puts his veil back on, it's representing, here, it is representing knowledge, and also represents the motherhood. That is, he is a child of the mother. But when he goes up the mountain, you see, he becomes associated with the father, which represents intelligence. So he takes the mask off and shows his full face. And we call that full face is called or her, H-E-R. And it's a full face with eyes, nose, and everything. That's her. You find that in the hieroglyphics. Okay. And so now we see that this character, okay, went up heaven, and he takes his mask off. There is his intelligence, and the Lord shows him the back, which represents, the back represents knowledge, it represents birth, rebirth, etc. Okay. Then we have other characters in scriptures, you know. We have the character Shu in the Kimite scriptures. Okay. Shu was also a child of the mother. And he has knowledge. But Shu doesn't have the intelligence. But there is Anhershu, who has the intelligence, because Anhershu crosses over. To cross over is to cross over into hell, into intelligence, or cross over into heaven. Intelligence is associated with heaven. Now, here's another example of a Moses. People, this character, talk to the Lord, and the Lord tells him to go to Pharaoh and talk to Pharaoh. Moses says no. He says that like he didn't have the skill, he lacked the skills or whatever. He said, let my brother Aaron do it. So Aaron's supposed to talk to the Pharaoh. Why? Because Moses was a child of the mother, and the child of the mother represents knowledge, not intelligence. Aaron had the intelligence. His brother Aaron had the intelligence. Therefore, he's the one that Moses says should talk to the Pharaoh. Well, these things come out right out of the Bible. The Hebrew, the Christian Bible, the Old Testament, New Testament. The Christ says that he works during the day. Hence, intelligence. Sunlight, daylight, intelligence. The Christ, the intelligent God. So when the Christ says that he's going to go to the prison house and talk to the prisoners in their cells, you know what I mean? He's intelligence coming to the prisoners in their cells who represent knowledge without intelligence, so he's bringing intelligence to them. And well, he's the Christ is a sun god. He represents the sun. Intelligence, the Father, he's the son of the Father. All these represent intelligence. So now he comes to the prisoners who's got knowledge, like the first humans. They had knowledge, but they didn't have intelligence. The guys in the prison cells got knowledge, they don't have intelligence. So Christ is bringing them the intelligence to the jailhouse, so that they then can leave the jailhouse with both knowledge and intelligence. You see, combined. That's wonderful. Okay, folks, subscribe. I have a lot more to talk about, and I'll be getting back with you, okay, soon. All right, have a good one, and bye.